films over there play well. They do play well.
But I mean, Gallagher was a big success here. It's regarded as one of the kind of keystones of modern British filmmaking. I mean, in terms of box office, it wasn't Avatar, but I mean, it was
It's close to Avatar, kind of in the intermission.
The Avatar team.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a film that is that difficult when you make a film like Gallagher? You kind of first feature and it has this reputation. Does it suddenly become a kind of albatross that you find is difficult to in some way live up to? Because it was so revered, wasn't it? I mean, at the festivals that it played at here in Edinburgh, as I said, it became a touchstone film. It was a road movie, it was a new way of doing cinema.
No, it was never it kind of gave me the confidence. In fact, in a way, it gave me the confidence not to just keep making single screen work. You know, I kind of done it in a way I felt that I didn't think it was as successful as lots of other people, especially critics. And you know, it was still flawed and slightly berserk and out of control. But it kind of gave me the confidence to carry on, in a particular direction. And I went on to make, Mapping Perception and other kind of installational-based work. And I think in Eden, in particular, it gave me the confidence again to turn the gaze, the lens back in on my own life, and the autobiographical became important and not just mundane. And it kind of made me really begin to look inwardly for inspiration and try and use my kind of life stories and all the stuff that orbits thereof to feed into the work. Filthy Earth was the first big narrative that I'd ever tried to. But again, I cheated. I stole the story from Ivul and regurgitated it. I read it and then just spat it out.
He wants it back.
He doesn't want it back. He's dead, mate. Yeah, he's long gone.
And in terms of, I know that finance at the moment, it's a difficult environment in terms of securing finance, but it seems to me quite buoyant in terms of, you've had people, not comparing them, Steve McQueen, Sam Crowell's just made a film, there are filmmakers like Joe Lawler and Christine Malloy and Gideon Coppell. It seems an interesting time for British cinema at the moment, and British cinema that draws on a variety of disciplines, the kind of segue between art and filmmaking. Do you kind of sense this? Do you feel that there is a kind of ambition about some of the films that are coming out of the UK?
I think the ambition was always there, and I think these things are cyclical, And in a way, it's maybe your job to notice that. I think as practitioners, you kind of get hungry now just trying to make it work. And if you're lucky, sometimes people will go, "Oh, that was good, wasn't it?" But more often, "Oh, for fuck's sake, what's she doing that for?" And it becomes. I think if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, then sometimes you think, yeah, there's a trend. But I don't think it's. I think it's always been there. If you think of the BFI when I started out, people like Patrick Keeler and Terence Davis and so on, and Doug Jarman, who was still very active at the time. And then the BFI kind of folded, and then it took a while to get going. But then within that interim, we had people like Lynn Ramsey suddenly, came, and Andrew Arnold, and like I say, they might not be working within the gallery space, but they're also people that have, been through the art school system and that are making films. So I mean, it's healthy at the moment, which is good. And Gideon's film is brilliant to see something like Sleep Furiously. Doing the rounds and actually outstaying his welcome in the cinema. He thought he was going to be there for a couple of weeks. It ended up being at cinemas for 2 months. Yeah. And I think sometimes people are kind of waiting. They want to see other stuff. They just don't want to keep going to the multiplexes. And that's why this kind of place is vital. And it's hard to get people into venues like this if you're showing more awkward or difficult work.
Yeah, I think that's why this festival is so important. I mean, I'm not actually affiliated with the festival, but I think CineCity is one of the best festivals in the UK, just because of the diversity of the stuff that it shows. Okay, we have time for one more question, but I think you're all going to be shy and no one's going to ask.
Well, we could have Tim, he's not shy, he could stand and take a bow, because he's the fellow responsible.
This is Tim Brown who's responsible.
Please, welcome to the stage. Put your hands together for Tim Brown! Tim Brown! Tim Brown!
Time for any more questions?
We've got to go home. He's got to go home. He's got a film festival to run.
Well, the thing I was going to say is this Filthy Earth has just been released by BFI DVD. Yeah. What extras are on that? Because I know that you're very good with extras.
We're doing pizza cutters, I think with scarves, posters, aprons, and a bouncy castle.
There's McDonald's time.
You've got to blow the bouncy when you open it up.
And seriously, Andrew.
I don't know.
No shorts on that?
No, there's a beautiful booklet. I know that. And then there are 3 or 4 performance pieces that I made when I was down in the French Pyrenees about, it's just pre-Ivul, I was an artist in residence, and there, you know, people are familiar with the work. It kind of connects with Clippy Clop and early performance pieces in the landscape. Me just with my clothes on, running around in the nude with a pizza cutter.
We'll be looking at that when we get there. And is there somewhere you can go where you know, do you have a website where people go and see things?
Yeah, I don't have my own website, but you know, the Lux, certainly, if people are familiar with the Lux, or In the Wake of a Dead Dad, that's at deaddad.info. This film now has ivulmovie.com is another way of tracking it down, but I'll just Google me, you'll find some stuff out there.
Fantastic. Alright, well, as I said, Ivul will be released next year by Irish Live. Not sure when, but it will be coming out. Andrew's always very good with this festival. We did a thing with Gallagher a few years ago where he took us all around the bus. We ended up at the Delaware Pavilion. It was great fun. It's always a pleasure to have him here. So please say thank you to Andrew.
Oh, thank you very much.